there, it's Gina House. I just wanted to put up a small video on how to do rounds 1 and 3 of the Amanda hat. I've had a number of emails from people feeling kind of confused, so I thought this might help, and I hope it does. Happy knitting! Row 1 of the Amanda hat pattern. First you want to knit 1, yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, yarn over, and then pass the slip stitch over both the knit 1 and the yarn over that's after that. I'll do that one more time. Yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, yarn over, pass the slip stitch over both the knit 1 and the yarn over. One more time. Yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, yarn over, pass the slip stitch over the knit stitch and the yarn over. Now round 2, now we're going to be knitting all the way across, letting the yarn overs drop down. So we're going to knit the first stitch, drop the second stitch. Now these two, I want you to see these two are together in a little group. So you want to knit 1, 2 from the group. You'll have a yarn over. Just push that piece of yarn off the needle. And then you have a grouping of 2, knit, knit. You have another yarn over. Just push that right off the needle. One more time. There's a grouping of 2, knit, knit, and then you see a yarn over, push that guy right off the needle. Okay, now we'll do round 3 of the pattern. So round 3, instead of starting with a knit 1, we'll be starting with knit 2. So knit 1, knit 2. Now you're going to start your pattern. Now when you do this, I don't know if you can see, but see this little hole right there? These 2 stitches are the ones that are going to be grouped together. So it's going to be alternating, because if you see, there's a grouping right here and there's a grouping right there. So you're going to be putting your next grouping in the middle of both. So you'll know when you're doing it wrong, because those 2 won't be going together. So you've knit 2, yarn over, slip 1, then you've got that hole, knit 1, yarn over, and then pass the slip stitch over both stitches. So see here, you've got on the row under the grouping underneath, you've got 1 here, 1 here. Your new one is above it right in the middle. It makes like a little pyramid. So that's what you want to do. You want to make sure you're doing that. So we'll do it one more time. Yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, yarn over, pass the slip stitch over both. So see, now we've got another little pyramid. One grouping here underneath, here, and then the new one is right on top in the middle to make a little triangle. So keep doing that across the round. And when you get to the end, you will have 1 extra stitch that you have to knit that won't be in a grouping. I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so we're at the end of round 3, and I just wanted to show you a little bit about how the fabric looks. See, it looks like this. It looks like almost like a diagonal rows going across of stitches here, 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 here. They go like this. And that's how your hat should look. So we're going to do the very end of this row, and then I have a couple of hints for making this hat. Okay, so as you can see, we're at the end of the round, and we've got 3 stitches left, and this is round 3. So we're going yarn over, slip 1, knit 1, yarn over, pass the slip stitch over both, and then you have 1 extra stitch. So you're just going to knit that guy. And then you're going to slip your stitch marker for the beginning of the round, and as before, knit. Now this time you're going to have knit 2, and then every time you come to a yarn over, you're going to push that little guy off the edge, woo, and then you're going to knit the next grouping of 2 and continue on like that through the entire round. Okay, so while you look at this beautiful fabric, I want to tell you a couple of things, or a few things, that I think are super important for this hat. One is that please make sure to do a gauge swatch. You wouldn't go to a store that has hats and just grab any one that's there and then take it home and be upset that it doesn't fit. So that's kind of what gauge does. It gives you the size that you should make. So you should use the needles that you want to use for this hat and the yarn and do a gauge swatch. And if you don't get the 4 stitches per inch, I think it's 4 stitches per inch for this pattern, if you don't get that, then you should go up or down needle size or change your yarn. And the next very important thing is the yarn. I know that a lot of people want to pick their own yarn, but this particular pattern, this Malabrigo worsted weight yarn, is just perfect for this. It gives this hat squishiness and softness, and it makes it so that the hat lays right on your head. And I think it's because that it's pure merino wool, which is very springy, and that it's also a 1-ply, a single ply yarn. See, there's no ply with it. It's just single ply, and it's super soft, and it's a little bit of a heavy worsted weight. So if you do that, your hat will come out exactly the way you want. So wonderful, you will love it. Another one that's great to use is I think it's called Monos Maximus. That is very similar. It's a heavy worsted weight single ply merino. You can definitely use other yarns, but it just won't feel the same. And once you've made one out of Malabrigo worsted, you'll be making zillions of them after that, like I have, because I love them. Another tip that I want to give is the stitch marker. I stupidly decided one time that since I've made so many of these, I would not use the stitch marker, and it came out completely wrong. So even though I've knit mine, my Amanda hat pattern, about 10 times, maybe more, I still use my beginning stitch marker. Make sure you do that. Or else you'll get confused because nothing will line up and you'll be like, where am I? So don't do that. And the last tip is that a lot of people have asked me if you should, how they should make a smaller or bigger hat. So my suggestion is do the hat the same exact way and use the same pattern, except go down in needle size and or yarn weight to get a smaller hat. I used a light worsted weight and went down to, I think, a size 6 and made a little baby hat. And it was perfect. It looked perfect. It fit perfect. Well, not me, on me, but the baby. And if you have a husband or a brother with a huge head or a son, then use maybe a little bit thicker than worsted or thicker worsted. Maybe go up to a light bulky and use a 9 or 10 yarn. And then you can knit the same pattern, but you can have it so it'll be easier that way, but you'll have a bigger hat. So these are my suggestions, and I really hope that it's been helpful. And So just let me know, and hope to see a lot more Amanda hats. Join the Amanda Hat Flickr group. You can check that out on my website or the Sleepyheads group on Ravelry. So thanks so much, and I will hope to talk to you soon. Happy knitting!